All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for July 23rd, 2024. This is just a reminder of focusing on things that matter. This is the view at work over the top of my monitor. And on the left-hand side is this compound sketch, which combines the semi-open circle of Wu Wei and the inner character of Ren. The Wu Wei is effortless action, and there's a gate that breathing in and out. And then Ren means duty, service to others. And this is a reminder here. Memento mori comes from the Stoics, meaning remember you will die. And I remember on 1 August last year, I had to have the heart valve replaced with open heart surgery. And QFA is just a reminder to myself to quit fiddling around. And that's the polite version of that form. This is a dream catcher from my spirit guide, Mike Three Bears, and a reminder of my father, the spirit owl, the eternal watcher that doesn't judge. So anytime I'm doing any work on the monitor, those things are always in my field of vision, reminding me about the things that matter. And it reminds me that things that don't matter, they don't matter at all. Let me hit this one real quick. All right, so here's a sniper trade of the day. This is on EWZ in 10 minutes. There we go. All right, so this is where it closed yesterday. Here's the gap opening down here. So you can see the relative size of that gap. Now, if I had bracketed that opening with an R10, I would have ended up getting the short entry right about here inside that opening bar, rather than getting the OR10. This is how we do the OR10. We play the breakout of that box. So I end up getting this trade here, the breakdown of the OR10. But if I had gone, because of the size of the gap, if I had just bracketed with the R5, I would have gotten this entry. So it's just to, pick your technique. That reversed immediately for an R loss. That was a stop and reverse. That's a 1, 2, 3 entry long, same size wrist box. That one initially got some traction. With this move. But that closed here, opened here, and then sold off through the skin of the dragon, through the R10, hit the PSAR in the spine of the dragon. So, mindful that I was already at -1, I kept about 0.5. Check or hold. That is a continuation short. That's justified because it's making lower highs, lower lows now, and now it's breaking through the intraday VWAP right here. So I get that short right there. When it comes through the dragon, I put my standard wrist box on it. I know I'll have something if it breaks down below, the belly of the RL10 and really the low of the day. So those would be my two tactical price targets. If it gets below the low of the day, I could think about adding a second position maybe. It just gets to the belly of the R10 previously and then reverses, and I take the spine of the dragon exit. I gave it I tried to give it these extra 3 bars here to do something to fail further, but it didn't. And when it got up to the spine of the dragon, I had to exit here in order to preserve this little piece of that move. That's a continuation short. Same standard size wrist box. And cash near the end of the day for about another half. So this was heavy sledding in here. This was -1. That one was call it 0.3. This one was about 0.2, and that one's probably 0.5. So it ends up being a scratch in EWZ, a great big nothing today. That was kind of the story of the day. We're going to see that the 10-minute traders had challenges today because how narrow the range was. But we're gonna see the Sundeep had pretty good success with the 3-minute. Here's Tim. And he's using the sniper framework. This one is ex US Steel. Um, here's yesterday's VWAP close. Here is an emerging dragon entry, standard risk. He's carefully marching it up to here. 3.3 R. After this thing rolls over, just the PSAR exit gives him a 3.3. On Devon Energy, he gets another 3.3, only this time after yesterday's close. He gets the first little leg down for 0.3, gets the next little leg up for for an SSC for 0.3. It reverses. He gets the collapsing dragon and smashes that one. Skin of the dragon exit for 3.3. So that's 6.6 for today with US Steel and Devon Energy. Nice work. So here's some 3-minute trades. This is Jonathan. This is EWW. This one was kind of choppy after the initial collapse. Uh, here's the close yesterday. Here's the gap opening. So here's the first 3-minute bar. So that would be your OR3, which means he was justified in taking the short here instead of here. He kind of gets a kata 2 style entry here for minus 0.8, but my opinion, that's a pretty good trade right there. The SSC he plays here, you could actually get the SSC here as it crosses the dragon. And then that would have been a scratch instead of minus 0.83. So that's minus 1.66 because of what I would consider some imprecision in the entries. Then I think you got a kata 2 here. Right in here. Yeah, I mean, you have this, you have a higher low, and you got price in the RL10 crossing the VWAP, crossing the dragon. I think you could get long right here. This is a Z3 pinch kind of breakout. You got the pinch right here. So rather than playing it in the middle with a kata 2, he elects for this one, but cuts it pretty quick and then stays out of the chop. So that's pretty good. So I think there was, if you take this one as the kata 2, you get a fractional gain, and you probably turn this into a scratch day instead of losing 2 on that one. So some refinements may be in there. So in DIA, let's see. Can't see what the time of day is on that one. Just a minute. Yeah, there was after this breakdown, which is outside of the Z3 pinch and then reverses, that looks like a fake 1 go 2 potential. He does take the kata 2, but cuts it quickly. He decided to stop trading, but that was tradable. 1, 2, 3, kata 2, that was tradable. That was tradable. This was actually tradable. They all look the same leaving the river. We need to take a look at the law of large numbers and the streaks. If you got a coin flip, 6 in a row is not abnormal. If in a family of 1,000 trades, you're going to see 6 in a row. I'll show you the math on that in our next coaching session. They all look the same leaving the river. Minus 1.23 overall on this one. This is where some of those earlier losses were inhibiting his trading. So I like the OR3. I like the quick cut. He re-enters here on the failure. I like that. Takes a quick cut. The SSC was maybe a little late. We might get that here a bar or 2 earlier. But still, that's a good cut, and that's a good time to take a break. I love the re-entry here after you get a clear new low of the day and a collapsing dragon. I love the exit. I like maybe this re-entry was a bar late, but still that's where you got to get out, and that's worth a shot. So there's not much wrong with this one. This was fine. This was just the kind of day it was today that will happen. There have been other days when you've been up 7 hours, so we got to remember that the rain falls on the entire pasture. This is the British pound US dollar from Brian. And he gets a net 0.1, but he was so busy documenting his system that he misses the the great deal of the day, which included a great big down trade and then two legs back up. Notice how symmetrical that is. The maximum excursion, the harsh winter sets up a nice follow through all the way back to fair value. Hamad got ground up in DIA as well, as we saw in earlier charts. He got what was there. They're just, look, after that first move, there's just nothing in EWW all day. Nothing wrong with that. EWW, the same thing, nothing wrong with that. Now, this is where Sandeep is working on something we worked out, actually refined yesterday in the coaching session, where he's using the 30-minute bars. This is a 3-minute bar, but he's using a 30-minute chart, and maybe there's like 3 days in it. And so if the 30-minute chart looks like this, and you see on the 30-minute a nice dragon rolling over, and that might set a collapsing dragon in here. He then takes that little window and goes and takes a look at a 3-minute chart. And instead of this just being a kata 2 to the downside, that thing probably looks like this, a collapsing dragon to the downside. So he's using the 30-minute for setup of genuine critical states in the larger time frame, and then zeroing in and dialing in to the 3 minutes for tactical. And he's looking for the patterns that are aligned with the directionality of the 30-minute bar. What that allows him to do is on the 30-minute bar, it turned out that this was really a significant support level, and this was a significant resistance level. And so when it makes this turn, he's able to get an SSC and smashes it for 2.4. He missed this kata 2, but he does get, and then after it falls to exactly the same level, gets a 1, 2, 3 SSC here, smashes for 2, re-enters for scratch, and then when it rolls over at the known resistance point on the 30, he's able to get the kata 2 to the downside. And on the 3-minute UDAO, which is a leveraged DIA, he brings home 8R today. So we're pretty happy with that technique on what was a really challenging day. This is the same trades being taken on DIA on the 3 minutes, and he brings home an additional 5.4. And it's the same patterns. And notice how powerful and good those turning points in the dragon are as a way to anchor you. So more to follow on that one. That's looking pretty interesting. In the market health check, this is the 30-day look back on daily bars. We got the 30 anchored VWAP, which is right here around providing support around the Bollinger Band main. We have the 3-day anchored VWAP is looking good and pointing up. The 5-day has based out and is ready to start drifting higher, as is the 10. Now, we're on the downside slope of this recovery, but it held support at the Bollinger Band main, and now we have a 1, 2, 3. We had a 1, 2, 3 entry today. So there's a 1, there's a 2, because it has the higher low. And this one made a higher low today and took out the top of bar 2. So there's a little 1, 2, 3 entry. Now it ended up pulling back to here, but as long as it's above this level, these levels here, we can buy the resumption of that. And we want to see it get above the dragon, the 5-day high, and then above the peak of the RL10, and then the 10-day high altogether, which is an all-time high. So this thing has potential. It's got to get through 3 barriers to really be explosive to the upside. That has potential. And this is what we mean on the 30-minute is, uh, today's high, the low of a couple days ago now set up a nice kata 2 type action. So if it can get above 555, it's reasonable. If it breaks above today's high, it's really good. Gets above the 10-day anchored VWAP, then it's going to be great. And then our target then would be all the way back up here to 565. We're still in bullish normal. Stabilized a little bit today. Volatility still relatively quiet, but favoring sharp breakdown moves. Got a couple buy on dips in the globals. Plenty of auto framers on retests of the 10-day high. A lot of 5DDs in the Dow. That's significant. Those are all great targets. Big move in regional banks. A ton of auto framers for the ETFs. A lot of goodness and opportunities there. Standard work with the auto framer for those of you doing mechanical end of day swing trading. And there's the auto framer and the daily squeeze. Really, I like it when I see EFA, DIA, NVIDIA, Intel is especially interesting. It's 7.8 to 1 on reward to risk and is a 3 to 1 breakout on a range expansion. Still dominated in the summer. The best individual targets for intraday trading: marijuana, NVIDIA, Tesla, Nucor, Boeing, 3M, Clean Energy, Mexico. The size of those average ranges, holy smokes. The RL30 slope is at the upper range of normal. If that fails, we could see that pullback here. If this breaks out, it's going to join the ranks of the abnormal good upside moves of the past 3 years that have been great. But this is a market that's in stabilizing mode. Let's see. Yeah, that's everything I want to cover tonight. Yeah. The Z scores. So if that was nice leg one pullback, leg two's been a little weaker and choppier and not as much follow through. So it really does have to get above 560 to be useful. Otherwise, we could see this drift back all the way back to 500, which is a 10% retracement. We don't want to stick around for that. That's why I think exits around 550 to lock in gains are pretty smart. All right, that's everything for today. We'll get this published and posted, and see you tomorrow.